Hello everybody, we are going to discuss today about what we call here in Agileto the 2G, 3G and 4G technology, so-called beacon cells, allocation and conflict. So let's start of all Agileto, and let's go first of all to the demo project. So we select from here the demo project which is coming with Agileto setup kit, and let's run the module 12 M12 to generate MapInfo and Google Earth objects. So this will be very fast. As usual, we have I will not go in details, just to emphasize here that we can introduce now a new input related to the difference between different frequency layers in radius. So this is a standard reference radius in meters, and this one 20 meters, it's how you represent different frequency layers comparing with the reference one and the difference between layers. So let's continue pressing OK. It will be very fast. And then once it's finished, we are going to view them. Let's view them, the mobile network in Google Earth. So let's view them in Google Earth, and we are going to concentrate now. Here is our small demo project network. And we are going to discuss today about this part, the beacon cells. And as we can see, we have two folders, the allocation and the conflict. First of all, let's see something, for example, the 3G F1 layer cells. And if we click like this, we can see here the 3G layer, F1 layer. There are multiple layers, F1, F2, F3. And if we click, for example, for one cell, we can see here the name of the cell, Agileto Demo 1X, the primary scrambling code, the frequency, UMTS absolute radio frequency channel number, and many other details. So now, what is interesting to concentrate is the primary scrambling code 106, and this one is represented here by this number as well. So we can deactivate or activate the scrambling code to be displayed or not from the left panel. Now the similar things we can have as well for the 2G. For example, if we want to represent the 2G and put everything on screen, we have on the blue background the 2G cells. So if we deactivate the 3G, we can see just the 2G. And here, what we have here as a reference as a beacon cell, what is the BCCH. So in our case, this one is 44, what is displayed over here. So if we want, we can activate or deactivate the BCCH values, what represent in our case the index of the cell or the beacon cells. So the information that is transmitted over the air, and it's make unique the reference of the cell on a certain area. So this information, the same we can do for the 4G technology. For example, if we want to put on the screen the 4G technology, and let's deactivate the 2G as well, we have what is called primary physical cell identification, this PCI, that in our case is 15 for this cell. So we can as well display or not display these values. So if we look on the technology for 2G, for 3G or 4G, we have a specific index of the cell that is identifying the cells on a specific area, and for 2G this is the BCCH, for 3G is the primary scrambling code, and the 4G is physical cell identification values. So these are going to be values to be allocated by a smart planning in order to not arrive to conflicts, very important conflicts. However, we need to repeat the same index after a certain distance, but we need to plan carefully. Do not allocate the same beacon, the same index, on a very close proximity from two cells which are going to share the same beacon cell, same index. So what I'm going to discuss today and concentrate after this very short introduction is about the this information that is going to be generated with this module. So we have the what is called allocation. So if you drill down this, we have here the values for the 2G technology. We see here the BCCH, for the 3G technology the primary scrambling code, and the 4G technology physical cell identifiers. And if we drill down here, for example, for the 2G technology, we have two sub-bands. One is related to DCS 1800 MHz and one is for the GSM 900. So if we look here, the GSM 900 are these dark blue colors, and the DCS are related to light blue colors. So if we put here on the screen, for example, the allocation, they will put, for example, for the GSM 900, they will put some bubbles, very nice dots with different colors according with the BCCH information that is going to be carried on. So if we click on this dot, blue dot, what we are going to see? We are going to see the BCCH value and the cell name. So we know that this bubble, this dot, belongs to this cell Agileto Demo 1A, and it's having the BCCH 44, and so on for another one. For example, this one is going to carry the BCCH 39, and so on. This one is going to carry 57, and so on. So each value is going to have its own color, but because in general you need to repeat the same BCCH for multiple cells, so you will have for different cells for a large network dots that are going to have the same color. So what we are interested to see, how close are the cells when they are going to repeat the same index, the same beacon. So in this case there is another folder that is called conflict, and if we are going to activate this, we are going to see, for example, for the GSM 900 MHz, there is only one position. The number 40 is going to present as if we activate this cell carrying the BCCH 40 is going to have in the close proximity another cell with the same BCCH 40, and if we click here, we see the reference cell Agileto Demo 1C and the BCCH value that is going to be referred to 40, and the source cell Agileto Demo 1C and the target cell Agileto Demo 4A. So this is Agileto Demo 1C. If we click here, we see all details, and this is Agileto Demo 4A like it is presented here. And what we have additionally as information here for the conflict of another cell sharing the same BCCH is the distance between the cells, so 0.9 kilometers, and the information 0.1 if one is pointing versus the other one. So 0 means the source cells is not going to point to this one, to the target, but the target is going to point versus the source cell. So this is basically what we have for the 2G technology, but the similar thing, and of course we can activate the bubbles, the points for the GSM for the DCS 1800. Similar thing, so if we deactivate everything now and we come for the 3G technology, let's put on the screen the cells for the 3G. So let's put the primary scrambling code as well. And now let's return to the beacon cells. So beacon cells, we have the allocation. And if we go here for the 3G technology, we go and we activate all the primary scrambling codes. So for the allocation, we allocate, and we are going to see, like we saw for the 2G, the similar principle, different dots at the edge of the cell. So this one is going to carry the primary scrambling code 106 related to Agileto demo 1x, and so on for different other cells. This one is going to carry 131, the primary scrambling code. Now, if we are going to see the conflict, if there are conflicts between the cells, so let's go to the 3G technology, to the folder conflict, and go under the 3G primary scrambling code folder. We have the folder belonging to the cells 3GF1, and below this one we have only one position that is related to 135. So if we put and we activate this one, we see these cells is going to have the primary scrambling code 135. It is mentioned here, and these cells is going to have the same primary scrambling code 135, and the distance between the cells is going to be presented here to be 1.6 kilometers, saying 0, 0, no cell is pointing one versus the other one, and as you can see, the color of the points are the same, meaning they are related to the same 135 primary scrambling code. Similar thing we can see for the 4G technology. So if we are going now to deactivate 3G completely and the beacon cells as well, and go to the 4G technology, and let's take the first layer, 4GF1. So we have this one, and if we go to the beacon cell and to the allocation, under the allocation folder we have the two layers, cells for GF1, and if we activate this for the allocation, we will see again the dots with different colors corresponding to different physical cell identification values. So this one is having the value of 15, this one 302, and so on. Now, if we want to see the conflict, means which are the cells which are going to share the same physical cell identification values, which is the closest one. So we are going to go on the conflict. Under the conflict folder, we go to the same layer for GF1, and under this one we see we have one single case, the value of 21. So in this case, these two cells, this one and this one, they are presenting to have the same, sharing the same physical cell identification value of 21. And these are the cells, Agileto 4G Demo 1Z versus Agileto 4G Demo X 4X. They are placed one over the other one at a distance of 0.9 kilometer, and one is pointing to the other one, and the reverse way is not right. So this is very useful when you have a very large network. This is very simple, that because we have a very small network. But let's start to see what is going to happen if we are going to look on another network a bit more complex. So for this we are going to change the demo project to demo OMC dump project, that is going to be delivered as well with Agileto setup kit. Okay, we can generate again, but it was already generated, the cells and the sites for 2G, 3G, 4G technology. So we are going now just to view the output, and let's view the mobile network on Google Earth. So press OK. So on the left panel we can see as well the technology, and if we are zooming, these are the 3G sites. Let's deactivate everything, and let's focus on the 2G technology. On 2G technology, let's use the DCS, only the DCS cells. So if we are going to look on the DCS cells, these are the cells for the DCS, and now let's go to the beacon cells. So let's display the allocation. So if we are going to see the allocation for the DCS 1800, these are the points. So if we look here, we are going to see different colors. For example, this one is going to point to the BCCH 805. This one is going to point to the BCCH 782. So now if we want to see, for example, which is the closest cell sharing the same BCCH, we are going to the conflict. We are going to see the 2G-BCCH folder, and under the DCS 1800 we have a number of values for the BCCH. So if we select, for example, one single cell, and we want to see which is a cell which is going to share, for example, this one, 796. So if we are going here to go to 796, sorry, is 790, this is 95, 96. So for the 796, we see this cell in connection with different other cells which are going to share the same BCCH value, so over the entire network. So each one is going the neighbor cell, the closest one that is going to share the same BCCH value. So for this one we can see this is a cell that is going to share the same value. So if we are going to see, for example, this once again 796, so if we close here, we click here on the link, we see for the BCCH 796 that this cell C5004A, so this one is this cell is going to be in the very close proximity with another cell, with this one C50,968C, that is this one, which is going to share the same BCCH of value 796. So here in this picture we can have an idea how close are the cells one versus the other one, which are going to share the same BCCH values. So this is for this value of 796. But for example, let's take another value, 786. So if we are going here and take the 786, this one, and we activate, we can see here, so this one is going to be in the closest proximity with this one. So if we click here on this value, on this line, we identify the cells, which are this one versus this one. So this has 786, and the closest one sharing the same BCCH 786 is this cell with this cell name. So now if we are going to look for some other cells, for example, let's take another BCCH value, 803. So if we go to see the 803 and we activate, we see here how close are the cells in visual way one over the other one. So for example, the closest cell for this cell is going to be visually, we can see, is this one. So the same thing is going to be presented here by this information with the source cell, target cell, the distance between the cells, and if they are pointing one versus the other one. The similar thing is, for example, for this cell, which is telling this cell to be in the closest proximity. So as we can see, everything is based on the same color. So according with the value of the BCCH, we have the value, we have a specific color. So if we take this one, 805, and we go here to 805, we see this pink color that is going to present all these links. So anyway, at the end, if we put everything, we will have a mess, but we can select just what is interested for us. For example, we just select some of them to see how they are going to be linked one versus the other one. This is very nice and very important to have in a visual fashion everything that I mentioned before. And there is another way in a tabular format, for example, how we can see, for example, if we click on 796 and we see this, let's concentrate on this one, and if we want to see in a tabular format, we copy this and let's return a bit to Agileto. We have the module 2.3 for the 2G technology concerning the 2G-BCCH allocation, and let's open it. Okay, and there is a module which is going to provide on one side the audit over all the network, and on another side which are the optimum value that are recommended to be over the entire network in order to maximize the repetition in distance, the repetition of the same BCCH value. So do not arrive to a very important conflict. So if we click on this button and we run it, we can see there are some loops. Finally it's finished, and if we minimize, we have in Excel the value on the first column. These columns are related to the reference cells, so all the cells over the network we can see on the left side on the gray color. Here are the first audit results, means the cells having the same co-channel this is a part related to the closest cell sharing the same BCCH like the reference cell. So in our case, for example, for this cell, just to have an idea, this is identified to have another cell, and this is a cell which are going to share the same BCCH value 805, which is placed at the distance of 31.9 kilometers. And so on. There is another information here. It's about the same type of information about the adjacent channel information about the inferior channel. So if the reference was 805, the inferior channel is going to be 804. And this is a cell name, the closest cell which is going to share the same value of 804. And if we would have, but there is no other cell sharing the superior channel, because on the right side on the blue background here we have the cells that are going to be presented related to the adjacent superior channel that is going to be in the closest proximity with the reference cell. And at the end, finally, we have on this let's say light blue color the optimum values. So on the left side we have the audit, and here the proposal according with a specific algorithm. I'm not going to enter into details, but to present you which is the optimum value over the entire network to change the BCCH allocation in such a way that the repetition of the same BCCH to be at a very big distance in order to avoid the conflict. So if we look, for example, on the original values of the distance where the network actually for the co-channel interference, it's going to have cells sharing the same BCCH, we can see here the cells are placed at distance starting from 0.2 kilometers up to, of course, different kilometers, very big. But we are interested in these very little values that are not going to be optimum. That's therefore, if we look on the optimum value and we see here the optimum co-channel minimum distance, we see here the closest cell is starting just after 8.4 kilometers. So the minimum distance where a cell repeats the same BCCH value is greater or equal to 8.4 kilometer. So now if we look, for example, in this tabular format and we return, for example, to the visual presentation. So for example, if we look here and we see we have this cell having this cell to share the same BCCH value. So the BCCH is 796 and the cell source it's this one, C50709C. So if we copy this and we try to identify here on the reference cell, so we are going to identify here. So this is what is going to give us as a result. So we can see here from the tabular format, we should see the same value of the same cell that is presented visually. So we can see here the distance is 1 kilometer away, and the cell, the target cell sharing the same BCCH, the closest one with 786 is C50004A. So if we look here now again, it's the same indication with this one, and so on. We can go, for example, for another example to investigate some other case. For example, if we take this one and we see here, for example, this cell, it's 50903B, and it's about this one. Yes, we should identify this one as a target cell. So if we look again to the original cell, like I said, and we identify this one, but this one is going to have, for example, another cell, so 50968C, and if we look visually, for example, it's exactly this one that is related practically to this cell, to this cell. So anyway, this is a way how you can identify, for example, for specific values, specific beacon cells in 2G, in 3G, and in 4G technology. This repetition of the same beacon cell, means 2G-BCCH, 3G primary scamming code, 4G physical cell identificator values. So more or less what I show you here on the 2G, it is available as well for the 3G and for the 2G. So don't forget, this is just, I want to resume. We have for the beacon cell the allocation folder, where we have the 2G technology, 3G technology, 4G technology, and the conflict if we want to see the same, where we have the same 2G technology, 3G, and 4G technology. So I hope that you enjoyed the presentation, and you will enjoy as well the results. So if you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact us at our email account, support@agileto.com, or one channel from Skype, Agileto ID, or even on Telegram, the same Agileto ID user. So thank you for watching this, and I hope you will enjoy it. Bye for now.